You know, fantasy football leagues are booming, and some of the most active players are actually women. An estimated 5.4 million women are in fantasy football leagues. This is according to the Fantasy Sports Trade Association. They actually make up an estimated 20% of fantasy sports players. So why the fascination for anyone? And what about the ladies that are participating? The fantasy football girl, the guru, Liz Loza, joins me now. Liz, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much, Lynn. I'm happy to be here.
You know, there may be some people at home saying, hey, that's a little sexist. Why would she assume that a girl wouldn't want to, or a woman wouldn't want to have a fantasy football league? Just because they're a woman doesn't mean they can't participate. But I'm going to admit, my fantasy football teams have been picked by dudes. And I've won, because I have no idea. But it's very popular among women. Have you found the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think with over 40% of the NFL viewing audience now being women, it makes complete sense that so many women are getting into the fantasy action. I mean, we are just as competitive and love the game just as much as our boyfriends, husbands, fathers, and brothers. I mean, I know a lady whose main objective every year is just to beat her husband, and I know of another woman who is a grandmother, actually, and she does it as a way to engage with her grandson. So it's a really fun, inexpensive hobby that, you know, gives you something to talk about and helps you connect with others. So why wouldn't anyone, male or female, enjoy it?
And that may be why there's been an uptick of women participating in fantasy sports in the last few years. So if someone, man or woman, wants to get involved in starting up a league, how would you suggest they do that if they've never played in the league before?
I think you just got to jump right in, right? Like, just go for it. There are tons of free leagues available on the internet. Get 10 to 12 friends together and set a draft date. I mean, actually, here's a good story. I have a girlfriend who's a pediatric nurse, and a couple of years ago, her and all of the nurses on her floor decided to try it, and they were total noobs then. Now they're really competitive about it, and they actually have a draft party every year to kick things off. So I promise that the hardest part about it is just coordinating everyone's schedules. And then, you know, if you want to listen to a podcast, I happen to know of one, or check out a website, then to help you through the season, it's super easy, lots of fun. Total social engagement, man. Like, gives you really something to discuss and engage about.
Yeah, and you know, actually, you're the guru, so I'm going to go to you on this one. Who are your top picks? Let's talk running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks. Top picks.
All right, well, running backs. Let's start with running backs because that's the position that has the most scarcity, if you will. It's a really volatile position. Top 4 running backs off the board should be LaShawn McCoy, Jamal Charles, Adrian Peterson, and my boy, Chicago Bear, Matt Forte. Wide receivers. The studs, everyone knows the big names. You've got Calvin Johnson, Demaryius Thomas, Dez Bryant. Quarterbacks. Oh my goodness, please do not draft a quarterback in the first round of your draft. Yes, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, and Aaron Rodgers are all future Hall of Famers, but you're going to get great value because that position has so much depth with guys like Matt Ryan and Tony Romo a couple of rounds later. So
you can't see me, Liz, but I just mouthed to our producers. I'm like, she's awesome. Girl knows what she's talking about. So I actually noticed you don't have Johnny Football in your picks.
Well, I don't, because there's also, you know, he's a really fun football player to watch, but just because someone's a great football player or has a lot of hype around them, media hype around them, doesn't mean they're going to serve your fantasy team particularly well.
You may be my pick this year for drafting my league, so you may be getting a phone call. Hey, thanks so much. Great to have you with us.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Draft well and win big.
I'll try. Take care. And are those the players that you picked in your fantasy draft, or were they already chosen? Well, not to worry. Liz has some suggestions on some sleepers you could take a look at. Just head over to our website, hlntv.com/Weekend Express. And we want to hear from you. Who are your picks? Keep up with us on Twitter and Facebook.